Welcome back to the channel, everyone. RacerX here, and today I thought I would put together a quick video for you guys about some Stellantis news. And I realize just about everything in the news right now, every YouTube video, everything is really negative when it comes to Stellantis, i.e. Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Ram. It is getting more and more difficult to kind of keep an open mind and be positive about things, which I have kind of tried to do in this latest round of news from Reuters talking about UAW, what's going on with Stellantis and their future plans. It's just kind of becoming a bit of a mess. So today I will give you guys my thoughts on the latest on Stellantis and why the American consumers are really kicking back at everything Stellantis is trying to do and what that could mean for the future of the company. If you guys are brand new, please do me a big gigantic favor. Only 19% of you guys watching at home are actually subscribed to the channel, and it costs nothing. And with that said, off we go. Today I am back at the Dream Giveaway Garage in Largo, Florida, because they have just announced an epic giveaway. I have been so excited to show this to you guys. Let's take a look. And here is the vehicle that I have been so excited to show you guys. I've known they've had it for a little while, but I couldn't announce it. Well, guess what? It is now live. It is a TRX, but it's not just any TRX. That is a Hennessy Mammoth 1000 TRX, a very special truck, 1,000 horsepower. Let's take a closer look. It is truly a monster. This has two really cool packages on it. It's got a $35,000 Hennessy Mammoth package on it, and it also has their off-road package. Just look at the stance. It's got a leveling kit on it, big 20-inch Hennessy wheels, as you can see right here. When you take a look at the front of the truck, no mistaking, it is a Hennessy 1,000 horsepower Mammoth. Check out the lights in the front of this truck. When you get over here, you've got lots of cues from Hennessy, no mistaking, 1,000 horsepower Mammoth. And when you get to the back, of course, you do have your last stand Hennessy graphics. And then right over here from Hennessy, it is the Mammoth 1000. When you open the door, you have the power step bars, as you can see right here. And then on the inside of the truck, you can see you do get this serialized badge on the dash. This is truck number 10. You also get a couple of cues on the headrest that this is from Hennessy. And the interior of this truck is absolutely beautiful, as you would expect in a TRX. Under the hood, you have one simple cue. You have this Hennessy 1000 plaque signed by the person that actually did the modifications. So if you've always dreamed about owning a TRX, now is the time to act, because this 1,000 horsepower Hennessy monster can be yours. All you have to do is go to Dream Giveaway's website. I will actually pin a link in the comments down below so it's easy to find. Enter my code RacerX and you will get not 2, but 3 times the entries for one price. I cannot wait to see who wins. And as always, if one of my subscribers happens to win this thing, I will do a dedicated video with you and your brand new 1,000 horsepower Hennessy. I can't wait to see who wins. If you ask any brand loyal Mopar enthusiast how they feel about the direction the company is headed right now, the vast majority, probably like 95, 98, I don't know, a big percentage of people are going to be pretty pissed off about the direction the company is going under the Stellantis regime. And I fully get that to a degree. I am somebody that doesn't like to put out a lot of negativity on my channel. I try and keep things relatively positive if I can. I try and keep an open mind. I am all about speed and performance. I've always been that way. And I'm not just a Mopar guy, as I've mentioned before, but I do love everything that the brand stands for and has stood for the better part of, well, I don't know, 6 decades, 7 decades, going all the way back into the 60s. You know, this company has always been about big engines, tire shredding power, loud, kind of in your face, a little bit abrasive. It is truly a performance brand for enthusiasts. And I love everything about that. I love the marketing that they do. I mean, back in 2015, when Tim Kuniskis and team gave us the Hellcat, okay? And then we graduated on up to the Red Eye and the Demon and all the great stuff that they've given us that got people really, really excited. And of course, you got RT guys out there and Scat Pack guys. And I mean, they gave us this big assortment of powerful 8-cylinder engines. And everybody just really got on board with that. And it was exciting. And you still have other competitors out there from Ford and Chevy, all that good stuff. But now, if you really ask anybody out there how they feel about the brands, they're going to tell you that they're really pissed off and they feel like the brands are ruined. They're in the toilet. The brands are dead. I mean, I see all the comments out there. Matter of fact, I see everybody basically, if I don't put out a video every 10 minutes showing all sorts of hate for Dodge, I'm some sort of a simp. I am some sort of a sellout, which I think is pretty funny because those of you guys that know me know I'm just basically an enthusiast through and through. But the latest Stellantis news, as hard as I've tried to be a positive beacon for the brand, it makes it even more difficult. No matter how bad the executives at the Mopar brands, Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Ram, wanted to continue to give us powerful V8s, what really is the staple of the brand, you have to remember that the rules changed. And I've talked about this so many times, but that is the truth of it. And when the rules changed, they changed the smog index, and it all had to do with the governments of the world coming together and saying, no, we're going to put a lot more stringent EPA guidelines on these companies, and if they don't meet them, they're going to have to pay out the nose, which is exactly what, like Dodge, for example, was doing when they're paying billions of dollars to Tesla, a direct competitor, just to continue to give us our beloved V8. Something did have to change, and that made that decision that much easier for Carlos Tavares and team to say, you know what, we're just scrapping the 8 cylinders. You guys are like a ball and chain around our ankle when we're trying to make money. You're not making the kind of money that we need you to make, especially obviously with all the fines and stuff. It's not a sustainable business model. So I do kind of get that to a degree. I really wish they could have gone a different route, given us another 8-cylinder that was a lot more smog efficient, like what Ford did obviously with our new Coyote. And I mean, there are other examples of it out there, but they basically just scrapped it. But here's the big thing. I think the execs at Stellantis, looking at their sales over in Europe, thought that what sold over there and what flew, so to speak, would also fly over here and sell well. And that's not the case at all. It seems that the American consumer is kicking back at Stellantis really hard. So not only do you have all the hate stuff out there from all the YouTubers and all the articles being written and all that kind of stuff, because these guys are putting out videos, like I said, every 5 minutes about how bad Stellantis sucks. You still have the fact that the American consumers are kind of showing with their wallet that they don't want EVs. The EVs just are not selling. I mean, look at the Mach-E, a perfect example. Car doesn't sell. They thought it was going to sell really well. And all of these companies, whether it be Ford, whether it be GM, or whether it be Stellantis in this case, they are prepared, with billions of dollars, right, to go out and build these battery plants, all this kind of stuff. For what? If the vehicles aren't selling, right, and the infrastructure isn't there, that's a huge problem in itself. And so, yes, I feel like the EV market or the hybrid market, it really does okay over there in Europe. The United States, the consumers they're showing, right, that they don't want it. And especially with a brand like Dodge, where you have, these enthusiasts that have followed for years and years and years and years, this is the exact opposite of what they want. And we have a choice as a consumer. And so I think until Stellantis can kind of get that reined in, and if they're going to continue to throw vehicles out that we don't buy, that's not a sustainable business model either. So something has to give. And now we have the UAW getting really upset at Stellantis.
2024 is a transition year as we are now ramping up our electrification offensive in the US market. So we have many new products coming in the second half, starting with the Wagoneer S, but then the Charger, the new Dodge Charger, the Jeep Recon, all of this is going to come in the second half. So we have a very unbalanced year so far. And you are right to say that there are plenty of opportunities for our consumers to grasp in our dealerships right now on all of our brands. And we are going to manage that on a progressive and thoughtful manner up to the end of the year.
So the UAW is now claiming that Stellantis agreed to do a whole bunch of things by a specific date. So there were a lot of agreements that were supposedly made that Stellantis is claiming that they're still living up to, and the UAW is claiming that they are not. I actually wrote them down right here. These are all from that Reuters article. $3.2 billion they were going to spend on a battery plant. They're going to invest another $1.5 billion in their Belvidere plant to build mid-sized trucks, also a new distribution center. I mean, we're talking billions and billions of dollars. In total, $18 billion invested by Stellantis with an additional 5,000 jobs by 2028. Well, that's going to creep up on us pretty quick. Well, now Stellantis is coming back and saying, listen, we promised all those things and we are going to hold up our end of the deal, but we never really promised a date. And now all of a sudden, they're pushing the date back out. I'm thinking, obviously, by looking at the sales trend, we know that their first half earnings for 2024 were really subpar. And this comes on the heels of lots of other negative things that supposedly are out there. Stellantis got hit by shareholders. Matter of fact, they're being sued by the shareholders for a misrepresentation of inventory. That is a really weird deal to get sued by your own shareholders. But I just read that article the other day. Apparently that's happening. They just laid off another 2,500 workers that were building the classic trucks. Now, I'm just really curious how all this is going to come together. We know that Carlos Tavares recently went up to Auburn Hills near Detroit and said, listen, we're going to cut costs like crazy to make this brand more profitable, or we're just going to sell it off or do something else with it.
Generally speaking, 40% cost cuts in order to make EVs profitable around the world. And there are some places where in Europe you're successful with EVs, but overall you're going to have to bring those cost cuts down substantially. How quickly can you make that happen? 40% is a very high target.
The middle classes want to buy BEVs at the price of ICEs. So we need to bring down the cost of electric vehicles to the same amount as the cost of an internal combustion engine vehicle, because the middle class people and middle class consumers, they want to buy the EVs at the same price.
We've heard all the rumors about BYD, who's a Chinese company, coming to town and possibly buy. I don't think that is going to happen based on what I know. I don't know what's happening with Chrysler. I don't think that's a thing for Dodge. My personal thought. I realize that there are some circumstantial things out there. We'll just have to wait and see, but based on everything that I know, I don't think that will happen. But if we can't see some profitability, this is what Carlos Tavares says, in the next, probably year, I think big things will happen. But here's the thing. The company won't be profitable if you don't give people something that they want. So ultimately, we're stuck in this really weird catch-22 type situation where they want the brand to be profitable, yet if you ask the average Mopar person, they're not really excited about anything that the brand is coming out with. Yes, I realize they're coming out with their new Charger Daytona EVs, but the vast majority of people out there, based on everything that I have seen, people don't want that. And it's pretty darn expensive, right? I mean, $80,000 for the new Scat Pack. Yes, it's going to be 670 horsepower. People just aren't really behind it right now. Now, the six-pack car, as I mentioned to you guys many times, I'm actually pretty excited about the Hurricane. It is a very, very capable engine. And I realize, no, it's not a V8. And there's an awful lot of people out there that say, listen, if it's not a V8, I don't want it. And I get it to a degree. And it will take some adjustment. Like I said, I've been to 2K. I've been to some of the coolest, street car events in the world. And most of those cars are not 8 cylinders. So, I, as an enthusiast, can kind of understand the potential of a Hurricane engine, but you got to remember, when it comes to Mopar, a lot of these guys, a lot of the gals out there that love the brand, that's what they fell in love with, was a big fire-breathing V8. So I kind of get both sides of the coin. But when it comes to what Stellantis is doing, how in the world are you going to generate profit from a company that's not giving people anything to get excited about? That is really the big catch-22 here. So is Stellantis delaying their plans to spend $18 billion on EV components and EV cars because they are starting to realize that the American consumer doesn't really want the EVs. They don't want the hybrids. Or is it just a matter of logistics and they obviously still plan to do all of this? Who's right in this? I mean, is the UAW saying, listen, you told us you were going to get all this done by a certain date, and Stellantis is saying, no, we're still going to do it, but we never told you guys a date. It's hard to say. Who knows what's really happening in the boardroom with these guys right now, but they have to be aware at this juncture that the EV market is not hot like it is in Europe, in the US. It's just not the same consumer. And I'm really, really hoping that Stellantis starts kind of getting a grasp on what the American consumer wants, and they start to maybe give, like Dodge or Jeep, these guys a little bit more freedom. I know it's hard, like I said, with all of the new restrictions in place and all that kind of stuff. Who knows? The regime may change at some point, which means the rules would change, and then that would open up the playbook like I've talked about before. But man, I wish there was some way that they could give them a little more leeway to design something cool, design something more fun, and kind of give the brand loyal consumers something to get a little bit more excited about. That, like I said, everybody says the brand is dead if you really watch most of the comments section. And like I said, I get it to a degree, guys. It is tough. But like I said, American consumers are speaking with their wallet. That is the biggest thing. And does it make any sense for them to spend $18 billion on stuff we don't want. And that is why I'm a little bit just kind of leery right now. The more I read, the more I get depressed about this whole situation. Let me know what you guys think about it. Please try and keep your comments at least respectful. It's kind of getting ridiculous. And I will catch you guys on the next one. So until then, RacerX.